concept of archetyping now as we are going in the progression. Let's do the archetyping. Why is it called archetyping? I remember you asked me once. You once said, is it the archetyping, Rain, you said, is it the archetyping that refers to archetypes? And I said, yes, that's exactly what it is. What is archetyping? Archetyping, even if you listen to that video, the pyramid of consciousness, archetyping is remember how we just talked about the association? If I look at the square, it may mean a square to me, it may mean something else. And there's a whole field in psychology that's based on it. Archetyping is when we connect to the archetypes within our mind and our soul. When I say soul, that means connecting to the ancestral, to the egregoric archetyping, right? If I say archetyping, if I say the word king, how will you understand the word king? Will the word king mean to you somebody who is in charge, somebody who is a leader? Or will it mean to you King Louis XIV, right? If you say King Louis XIV, then that means that you're referring to the way you learned history when you were a child or an adult. But if you say king as a leader, as a person who leads the people or progresses the nation, that's an archetypal association, because you're referring to the general understanding of the word king. You understand? Mm-hmm. And when you add color, your goal, yes, it's wonderful to tell me what the word king means to you on a personal level, right? It can be, you know, King Prince Charming, right? Can be a reference to the king, right? Because Prince Charming is the future king. Can be the story of Cinderella. I mean, or the wonders, you know, we can do with all of this, right? We can take on the whole, like I said, there's a whole field of psychology that's associated with this. But my goal is to get you to understand that the word king is connected to the whole archetypal association within your mind, where king can be A, a leader that helps the nation, or B, a leader that ruins a nation. And the way you understand that word is what's going to make a difference for you within that deeper association with your own drawing. This is the important to understand. Your personal drawing, remember, the way you see the picture has to make sense, has to be, you have to be happy with your picture. If I look at your picture and I say, oh my God, it's so uncomfortable, you're going to say, that's fine, turn around. None of, you know, that's your choice. You don't have to look at my picture. And it's true. It's my choice. I don't have to look at your picture. That's not my picture. That's your picture.
Right.
And I have a right to be either happy or not happy. That's my body, right? We're not going to go there, but that's the right of my body to react and my mind to react the way it reacts to your picture. But if I tell you I am not happy with you, my picture, and let's say you're an Neurographica instructor, you know what you tell me? You say, that's fine. It's up to you to change your picture to the point where you will like it. And there are different ways to change your picture. But that's why we need to color in big fragments of the picture. Why? I can tell you color in just 2. Look. But what I see people do, they color in 2 tiny bit pieces of their picture, and they're like, that's it, I fulfilled the requirement of coloring. When you look at their picture, I had that in my supervision, in people who either take the regular basics, because I supervise the regular basics group and the instructors group, and people would have pictures, right? And, you know, and they would draw, right? Like this, look, where's mine? Marker. I'm going to make it more contrast, okay? This will be green and this will be green. And then this will be red and this will be red. And you look at the picture and you're like, there is no archetyping here. Archetyping is putting the big shapes, connecting them together. So then connected to the big idea of what the king means to you. And if you tell me the king means something negative to you, like, you know, king, what is it? The next king, not Louis XIV, who was a controversial figure in itself, but let's say the next one, right? What's her name? Marie Antoinette, who says, you know, The people are starving. What did she say? Let them eat cake. There's no controversy here, right? She's not a positive figure in the history, in the human mind. Like recently I had a whole conversation. We were sitting at a dinner, and this person, we were discussing Napoleon and what he means. And he's a controversial picture. I love Napoleon personally. I think he's a genius. But this guy was telling me he thinks Napoleon is horrible. The way he did, he brought war and he tried to be an emperor. You see what I'm saying? And there is no right or wrong here. You know, we're not writing a dissertation here. We're having conversation. But if I color each mosaic different color, am I getting to the archetyping? I am not getting to that big picture within my mind. I am saying, a king is somebody, a queen, let's say a queen. A queen is somebody who wears a crown. A queen is somebody, a queen is like, you know, the stepmother queen from the Snow White. And the queen is, you know, the purple color means that she's mean. And the lilac color, I'm like concentrating on very little details of the queen. I'm not getting to the big picture. In the big picture, I want to know, archetypingly, what does the figure of a queen means to you? And I say, take that purple and color it all purple. And as soon as I look at all of these fragments being purple, look at this. I just created a big fuss of purple. You guys see it's much darker, but it's really purple in my paper, right? And I look at this purple and I say, you know, sometimes I felt, and I'm going to exaggerate here just for the point, I felt like my mother, I wanted to be a queen, or my mother was always a queen, and I never got to be one. We're getting deeper, okay? We're getting to the fact. We're getting to the archetypal fact. A queen is the mother. A queen can be a grandmother. A queen can be my older sister. You know, Masha, Masha, Masha. You know, that whole cliche, right? Queen can be that girl, the very mean girl, the clique girl. You know, my daughter was bullied a lot. So the queen can be that clique girl who was so mean because she was a queen and the girls followed her and they would call somebody else names. And as I say that, my eyes started coming with tears. Yeah. As a coach or a self-coach, I don't have to do much coaching. All I have to do is, like what we talked about, just add a throw, add a catharsis, and round it off and let go of that negative feeling association with this archetype figure, okay? What I just described to you guys was a very deep understanding. Nobody explains archetyping like that. Pavel doesn't explain it. He explains the way he explained. He's a psych person. He's a psych academia. He's actually a professor in a university. So he will explain to you with a lot of, you know, sophisticated words, but he's a man. So he explained things the way he understands it. I explained it to you from a female point of view. Archetyping is getting to that point. What does the queen mean to you? What does the king mean to you? When I say the king, what are you? If you can start telling me, no, the king was the father of Sleeping Beauty. Okay, what else? I'm not getting to the deep side. And the whole point of Neurographica is not for me to get to the deep side consciously. What I did with you was conscious. Don't do it consciously. With Neurographica is saying, be ecological, be safe. Don't go into your trauma. Any trauma expert will tell you if you want to work with trauma, you don't go into trauma. You do the safe way around trauma. And Neurographica is the best safe, one of the best safe ways. There are many ways I just discovered. I just learning so many methods. But one of the safe way to work with trauma is through Neurographica. You don't have to go into your trauma. God forbid. I mean, I went through the trauma workshop. I mean, come on, there were 6 of us and 3 or 4 of us ladies. They were sexually exploited when they were a child by their either say stepfather or father. It's horrible. Horrible is not the word to describe it. What I'm saying is you don't have to go into that memory to work with your trauma. When you work with the archetype, when you color, and that's why I say 4, I don't say 2. Because over here we made 2 shapes, 2 big shapes. But if we make little tiny shapes and you get to recolor little tiny shapes and say, that's it, I did my fulfillment. And I tell you, no, do 4. because I want you to get to that archetyping type. I want you to get so deep inside yourself where you say, you don't have to consciously do it. You don't have to get to the conscious point that you felt your mother was a queen or that girl who bullied you was a queen. But adding the color will naturally bring out, and adding the color that you like through the color therapy in this case will bring out and transform that archetyping of your inner thought, that archetyping figure within your head that you want to change. Okay, as I type, look at this. When I colored 4 shapes, doesn't it look completely different? Doesn't it unify a part of my picture? And that's a part of composition. Composition, I've been also, until now, I've been explaining the graphical.
They have so much wonderful scientific data now that actually supports that. And there's just tons of information about drawing, breathing, relaxing, but this is so much more than drawing. There's just so, it's...
Yeah, and look what happens. Look what happens is I expand my coloring, which you also do. Do you guys remember? And we're going to discuss this. Some of you maybe covered this in basics, dissolving, right? I can take any, we did that in Neuroconnection, if you remember. When you take a figure and you can dissolve it.
Yes.
Use the same thing with the coloring. See, if I add enough color, the more I expand, now it's be careful not to expand it fully to the picture, but the more I expand, the more I dissolve the trauma that may be hidden. I'm not saying there is. Queen may be a wonderful thing, you know. It can be a good thing, you know. You can be Queens the singer, right? You can have different association. But and I love Freddie Mercury, right? I love the singing. I'm sad about his fate, right? He was so young when he died, and there you go. You see, again, it took me to something negative. But what I'm saying is that you kind of dissolve that within the color. You kind of bring it to the general, because I keep telling you the specific, that Queen may be related to Freddie Mercury, who died so young. And you're going to take me to something bigger. Queen is Queen Esther. And as you say that, and that's very archetypal. Queen Esther is very archetypal. And what I'm going to do, I have an actual idea that I'm going to do the Neurospherot, which is usually associated with male figures in Judaism. I'm going to add female figures to it and make it powerful, you know? And Queen Esther, I have a daughter named Esther, and she's really a Queen Esther. She has that personality, you know, that maturity. That makes me feel good. Do you see what I'm saying? When if I color a little bit, all I'm thinking is about, you know, Queen can be negative. But if I color big, within my mind, subconsciously, the way it works is that I'm thinking, oh, Queen is actually a great figure. Queens and kings were created to protect the nation, to give, you know, whatever you want to add. The Queen Esther was a powerful figure. She was a good queen, you know, she was a good role model for women. Let's put it this way. You know, why not go contemporary, right? And you, I just read your mind, Rain. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, but I know you have your own idea. Once I say she was a good female role model, who are you thinking about? Who will you think? Let's be honest here. We're not far away from the presidential inauguration.
But no,
actually, Facebook was full of ladies who were so powerful, you know, and the way they were dressed, even the fashion statement they made, right?
Yeah, but I have to tell you, the only, I have dressed up as Queen Esther, so I was reliving my childhood in Purim and thinking like, oh, I dressed up as Queen Esther once. My sister's Jewish name is Esther, for Queen Esther. So I actually was going down that road because I don't have as many Jewish associations, but with Queen Esther, I do. It's one of the few. Because she's so celebrated for Purim. And if you don't know what to dress up as Queen Esther, because you can't go wrong. I know boys that dress up as Queen Esther.
When it comes to archetyping, honestly, the point is not to color. You can do neuro art and color each shape, let's say orange. I'm going to make this shape orange. That's neuro art.
Yeah.
The point is go subconsciously, color the big pieces of your paper, the color you want. because when you color it, you heal yourself through that color. It's color
Yeah.
therapy, and you don't have to go into your trauma to heal yourself, okay? If later on, let's say I finish coloring all of my picture and I decide that I want blue here. I decide that I want to bring out, and that's what we're gonna actually do this now, right? I'm gonna say, let's say you, by the way, you can leave 30% of your paper, you can leave white. White is a pay color too, okay? Just so you know.
I always forget to do that. I don't know
You don't
why.
have to. I don't do that. I always I enjoy adding
I
color.
love
But I
color.
have people who ask me and say, can I leave it white? And I say, yes, you may, but make sure it's only 30%, not more. You need to add color to the other side. So
Okay.
the point is, let's say I'm looking at this picture, and that's going to be something we're going to discuss more, but I'm going to give you an introduction now. It's called contrast and nuance. Contrast is when you have a picture.